Hi, it's Ileana, and today I'm remote viewing if Anna, Paulina, Luna, and Matt Gaetz saw alien bodies when they went to a Florida Air Force base in 2024. Was there also a video of alien bodies shown to them? This is a multiple session type of a remote viewing, checking the target 3 times for basically for accuracy and veracity. This target was highly unusual, and I just felt like it needed 3 sessions for the same target. So this is session 1. Again, it was done 3 times, repeated 3 times, same target, same information to see what would come up to make sure that the target was accurate. I needed to verify this target because I thought it was, again, highly unusual and controversial. So I wanted to do 3 sessions on it, and it is an open target. So I was in the know about what the content would be. I do targets that are blind closed targets and open targets where I might know like just a bit about what the request is for the target. And this is considered to be a hybrid remote viewing session because I have some awareness of what the question is, I guess, for this particular target. And this was assigned to me, but it was sent by an email with, can you remote view this? We want to know, did it actually happen or not? Did these Congress people go to some sort of a Air Force base in Florida in 2024? Did they see physical bodies? Were they shown alien bodies? Were they just shown a video? So that is considered an open-ended target, where I kind of know what the scope is of what they're asking, but I don't know what the results will be until I remote view it. So it's not a blind target, it's an open target from a request. And so I'm disclosing that off the top. So this is an open target. So let's begin. Through remote viewing and tapping into the signal, we are shown impressions of arriving at a base under a low, humid sky. The security perimeter smells of cut grass and diesel. Floodlights throw long, thin shadows across a tarmac. There is an escort that moves with quiet competence, a single line of boots, ID badges glinting, radios at the ready. The group slips through a door and down a corridor whose insulation swallows sound. The real world narrows to the soft click of a keycard and the muted hum of climate control. The subjects enter a room that smells faintly of antiseptic and cold metal, a hardened evidence chamber. Light is clinical, but not bright. Recessed panels, edges softened by a slight haze from filtered air. Along one wall, sealed crates sit like unmarked coffins. At the center, a stainless steel table stands under a focused neutral lamp. People in plain but official attire, mix of military blues and nondescript security jackets, cluster at respectful distances. They move economically. There's no showmanship here. Anna, Paulina, Luna, and Matt Gaetz are present. In the remote viewing vision, they are composed, not performative. Luna watches with a contained intensity. Gaetz is deliberate, eyebrows knit, hands clasped in front of him. Neither is making headlines in the room. Both are quiet observers, chosen to be shown something that others are not. A sealed case is carried in on a trolley. 2 technicians in gloves set it down with procedural care. The lid is removed. Inside, small forms, each cocooned in layers of pale cloth, and polymer sheeting. They are compact, notably smaller than an adult human, roughly the size of a child or a compact adult skeleton, depending on the angle. The exposed skin, where wrappings are gently parted by gloved fingers, has an odd, subtle sheen, a cool grayish green under the light, not glossy like plastic, but not exactly warm like a human skin either. Cranial shapes are elongated toward the back, forehead slope, eye sockets are proportionally large, even when lids are closed. Noses are flattened, mouths thin and small, fingers are long and slightly tapered. Limbs are slender with a fragile-looking architecture. And this is the image that came up of these small, tight, non-standard sized beings. I don't know if they're grays. I don't know the specific species type. They feel hybridized to me, like several species were spliced genetically together, and this is what was created. They feel like a workforce, like they have work performance missions that they do. So they're kind of self-autonomous and kind of not. That's what I was getting as the analytical overlay AOL. Those were the impressions I got. So, and this is kind of the first image impression after the beings, seeing the beings, I got where they came from. So there's an energy field modulation and there are life pods. These bodies of these beings were once alive and they were inside life pods. And those life pods had specific energy modulation field around it that protects it from being opened. And these life pods were ejected out of a craft that crashed on Earth. And these bodies are biosynthetic bodies inside the pods. So they're somewhat biological, but mostly biosynthetic. The recovered bodies of the biological biosynthetic entities were originally inside the energy-protected life pods that were ejected out of a crashing craft. So it was these life pods were ejected out of a crashing craft in the 1960s to 1970s timeframe. That's what I got for the timeframe when all of this happened, where these bodies came from. And this was on Earth. And so here I got impressions of what these bodies are and what the beings are somewhat. Describe the biological biosynthetic beings. Non-standard sized intelligences, hybridized living organisms spliced together. Several different species of beings genetically engineered and meshed together. Small, green, gray, wet skin, shiny skin, flows like water, yet slithers. That's what their skin felt like to me. Large eyes, double pupils, small bodies, 3 fingers, 5 or 4 fingers on these beings. 3 to 5 feet tall in height, being stored in life pods even when the larger ship is always available during transport missions. Biosynthetic beings have high capacity intelligence, yet are like living drones completing mission work. Worker drones, not a one-size-fits-all body. Sometimes it comes in slightly bigger proportions, and at other times the bodies are scaled to smaller sizes depending on which environments they will be operating in. Mixture of organic components and biosynthetic engineering, not massive reproduction clones, as they have their own unique signatures of being organically grown, but not naturally born. These beings are specifically engineered to be launched on survey missions to map out existing galaxies and explore unknown space to catalog emerging evolution of new species types and exotic planetary formations. How does life come from an organic petri dish when no one else seeded it before? The beings study these rare anomalies. So that's what I got on the beings and their missions, I guess, of what they do. And the second part of the remote viewing was Was there a video of alien bodies? And this is what I got. A tech activates a small tablet and a brief video clip is played, not on a big projector, but on a guarded screen held close. The clip is grainy, handheld, low-light footage of what appears to be a different staging area, a recovery hangar, temporary triage room. Personnel are moving under the tarp and floodlight. The clip's camera lingers on the small forms laid out on tarps or a stretcher. There are shots of gloved hands indicating anatomical markers, slow pans across the faces, and short close-ups of unusual limb articulation, like 3 fingers, 4 fingers, 5 fingers, different anatomical sizes of the bodies, where the organs are. All of that was checked and scanned. So they were doing, I guess, assessment of why these bodies are so different from humans. Is it biological life forms, biosynthetic, a combination of both? What kind of organs they have, body parts, any differences from humans, similarities, or no similarities at all? All of that was cataloged and put away for later research to understand this better. The audio is minimal, a hiss, and distant voices giving terse identifiers. There's no theatrical soundtrack, no dramatic narration. The entire clip is short, perhaps 30 seconds to a minute. Factual and functional rather than sensational. In the room, the atmosphere shifts into a heavy, respectful silence. People do not gasp or shout. They catalog, annotate, and close ranks. A senior officer's voice, low controlled, says something to the effect of, "This is internal," or not for public release, delivered with the soft procedural gravity of someone reminding the group of the containment rules. The tablet's playback is stopped. The clip is removed from the visible playlist. The forms are gently rewrapped, each movement precise and reverent. The crate is sealed again, labeled with a metric code, and wheeled away into a darker storage corridor. So here are a few impressions that linger strongly in the remote viewing vision. Containment and protocol dominate. Everything feels like an evidence chain. So it feels like an evidence chain. Documentation, minimal exposure, strict handling. The people present act as custodians, not performers. Ambiguous condition. The forms read biological in the remote viewing vision, but their exact state isn't clear. There is a partial form of energy that reads as biosynthetic life forms that are half alive and half engineered. They appear to be preserved, deceased, or otherwise, because the handlers treat them more like sensitive evidence than remains to be displayed. The remote viewing vision doesn't show overt decomposition, nor does it show clear signs of living responsiveness. Selective showing. The video clip in the room functions like a private proof of concept, short, grainy, internal. It's intended for a limited audience and presented in a way that discourages broad dissemination. So what happened afterward? Afterward, Luna and Gaetz exit into the humid night looking sober and contained. In the remote viewing vision, there is no immediate public spectacle. The experience is cataloged and moved into an internal channel. Outside the base, rumor might eventually swell, but within the scene, the institutional impulse is to lock, label, and limit. In other words, we're never going to hear about what really happened there and what they saw. They're just not going to reveal that. There might be rumors about it, but it's not going to become public knowledge. So let's see what the tone and emotional color is in this remote viewing. The whole scene carries a muted, taut seriousness, not theatrical shock or melodrama, but the quiet compression of people confronting something that challenges existing categories. The sensory details, the smell of filtered air, the chill of the stainless table, and the dull sheen on the forms keep the scene anchored and immediate. Okay, so what is public reporting on these Congress people key points. What is public that they've admitted to? They've not admitted to the alien bodies, that they've seen or not seen anything. They just said, no comment. We can't talk about this. But what else have they publicly said? Both Rep. Matt Gaetz and Rep. Paulina Luna have publicly said they've been shown or have seen UAP UFO images or photo documentation that they consider unusual. Online channels and some videos claim that Luna and Gaetz were shown a video of alien bodies at a Florida Air Force site in 2024. And that's where this remote viewing came from. Somebody saw a video of this stuff and they emailed it to me and they wanted it to be remote viewed. So yeah, there's rumors and sources that a video claims that this stuff happened. So if they wanted to know if that's true or not. So that's where that piece of information came from. Major news and official Pentagon Arrow reporting to date publicly released do not contain any authenticated declassified government release confirming filmed alien bodies. So there's nothing authenticated or declassified saying there's alien bodies that have been seen by Congress people. It's not established and it's not verifiable fact. Public officials and whistleblowers have made various allegations, but there is no universally accepted official public confirmation of alien bodies. There's none, but there's rumors floating about of this stuff. So here we are. Here we are, yeah. And you know, I had to publicly disclose what is public reporting because I wanted to see if there is anything on this or not, and there's not, except rumors. That's why this was remote viewed, for clarification. So let's go to remote viewing if Paulina Luna and Matt Gaetz have seen alien bodies, session 2. In the remote viewing scene, we stand at the edge of a secured flight line at a southern Florida base. It's night, it's humid, a distant smear of runway lights. The air carries diesel and hot metal. Low conversation is swallowed by the steady thrum of a distant generator. A group of individuals is led through a controlled corridor. Key cards, curtained windows, a subtle military cadence to movement. The escort is efficient and measured. Their badges catch the light like small moons. In the remote viewing impressions, the room they bring us to is not an aircraft bay, but a hardened evidence vault, concrete, low ceiling, HVAC hum tuned to a steady white noise. Fluorescent panels are recessed and dimmed. The light is clinical and flat, but not bright enough to erase shadows. At one end, a long stainless steel table. Against the wall, sealed crates with embossed service stencils. 2 or 3 senior officers stand near a curtained area. One of them places gloved hands on a sealed rectangular case and lifts a translucent cover. Paulina Luna and Matt Gaetz are present in the front row. In the remote viewing vision, they are smaller than life from the vantage point of the door, silhouettes and jackets. So they're kind of seen from a further afar in the field, in the remote viewing vision, in the impressions I was getting. So they're a bit, you know, they're a bit smaller sized than me, like straight zooming at them and observing them. That's what I mean. So when you're looking through a field of vision at someone through video recording or something from above, from the above plane of vision, people can appear smaller. So that's what I mean by that. Luna's shoulders are squared. Gaetz shifts his weight, alert, eyes narrow. Neither is theatrical. They're very calm. Their faces read a mix of professional curiosity and a reserved gravity, like 2 people trying not to let what they're seeing rewrite the script in their heads. The case is open. What's inside is not theatrical. There's no Hollywood monster reveal, but a small wrapped form or forms cocooned in pale fabric-like layers in a shallow pool of condensation. The forms are compact, dwarf-scaled, relative to a human body, perhaps the size of a small child, perhaps smaller. The skin visible where wrappings are parted is smooth, slightly iridescent in the dim light, a quiet gray-green that seems to catch the cooler tones of the fluorescent lamps. The cranial shape is elongated, forehead high and tapering. The eye sockets appear large, even closed, and the facial features are spare. A flattened nose ridge, a thin mouth line. Limbs are slender, fingers long and tapered. There is an immediate sense in the room of something fragile and removed from familiar human proportions. Again, non-standardized bodies that are smaller than what the average human body is like. And some people may think little green men. It's the giggle factor that comes in. Hey, they're real. There's actually little green men. Well, I don't know what these beings are. I don't know. I don't think they're exactly grays. That's not the impression that I'm getting. I'm getting hybridized, different slices of different extraterrestrial beings, hybridized specifically to be small and compact to fit certain mission criteria of where they're sent in various environments where they don't need to be big sized. Compact bodies are more economical to send in smaller crafts to explore things and gather data on. That's why they're smaller. That's what I was getting from why their proportions are smaller. And I wasn't getting that they're all grays. And to me, it's like I didn't have a giggle factor, little green men. That's what, that's what's being made fun of. This is kind of what I saw in this viewing, but I never made fun of it because this is serious. Like, extraterrestrial beings come in different forms and sizes. So these ones may fit the standard mold of little green men, but they're not little green men. These are living beings that fell out of a crashing craft in life pods. They were sealed in life pods. So at one point they could have been alive. Who knows? Maybe they are still alive in some capacity. I don't sense that they're alive. I sense a consciousness awareness, like their consciousness went somewhere else. And there's a memory of consciousness, of remembering what happened to them. Like their souls are not trapped in these bodies anymore. I don't get that. But I sense that there's memory and consciousness that's downloaded somewhere else and collected of their experiences. Because they don't live in these bodies. Their consciousness can be transferred in and out. So it's like a portable vessel, biosynthetic life forms that can interchange their consciousness in and out. So these bodies are like transporters to them. They're temporary. They're not even their permanent bodies. So their consciousness, their soul field, that's not what it inhabits always. That's not the bodies they live in. They're not stuck in them. So that's the impressions I was getting. So in the second remote viewing session of this target, was there a video of alien bodies? Clearly, these Congress people, Anna, Paulina, Luna, and Matt Gaetz, were shown bodies, even in the second remote viewing. Shown the bodies. Now let's see if there was video. A tech near the case opens a tablet and plays a short clip on a small screen, not a large public screening, but a guarded playback. The video is grainy, shaky, taken in low light. It shows the same or similar forms in a different environment, a dim recovery hangar, personnel moving around, evidence markers, a raised tarp, and gloved hands. There are quick cuts, close-ups of the head, a hand traced along a tiny rib cage, a slow pan showing a cluster of small forms on a stretcher. The clip lasts perhaps 23 to 40 seconds. The mood in the room stiffens. Breath is held. Several officers avert their eyes or stare at the tablet as if it has weight. The people in the clip move with solemn efficiency, not panic, not celebration, just procedural. There is no explicit audio of alien vocalization. The track carries only the soft mechanical hiss of the recorder and muffled human voices saying terse identifiers. During the remote viewing impressions, we sense that for those present, the video is not meant to prove anything to the public right then. It is an internal contained piece of evidence. The vault vibe is one of containment. So this takes place in some kind of a preservation vault at the Air Force Base, wherever it is. And the procedural containment is keep the object, document it, and minimize the narrative. In the remote viewing vision, some senior official says something quiet and almost apologetic. A line like, "We're not showing this publicly," and gestures to the sealed case being closed again. The tablet is powered down and the clip removed from the playlist. So all evidence of what was shown to Gaetz and Luna is erased. It's on a tablet, it's shown to them of these alien bodies and what the video provenance is, and the physical bodies are shown, then it's all taken away like it never happened. The crate is resealed. The walk back is measured and brisk. Luna lingers a second, looking at the closed crate, jaw tight. Gaetz exchanges a short, hushed word with an officer and then follows. Emotionally, the room registers a muted intensity. Those who handle the objects treat them with the same procedural care they would give an unexploded ordnance. Reverent, methodical, and purposeful. There's a sense of hierarchy. People who know more stand slightly apart. Those shown are chosen, and information flows selectively. So, two important sensory impressions repeat in the remote viewing vision. Containment over spectacle. The scene focuses on documentation and cataloging, not spectacle. The clip is internal, short, and grainy, not a broadcast quality reveal. And in the 1960s, 1970s, you still kind of expect that. As technology evolves, video becomes better, but back then it was still medium-sized quality. So short and grainy and internal, yeah. That makes sense for the 1960s and 1970s, what the technology was like back then. I'm sure if they have more recovered bodies and from crash site retrievals from different crafts, I'm sure 4K video is much better now than it was then, because we have better cameras, better equipment, better recording standards and procedures. So I'm sure there's more advanced videos now if they're recovering more bodies and crafts. Like in this day and age, anywhere from 2000s to 2025, it would be much better. Not grainy, there probably would be sound, more cataloging, more research even of the bodies, because they finally understand what they're looking at and where those beings come in origin from. I'm getting the sense that they now know where these beings came from, so they have a better understanding of this stuff. What's called biologics and biological materials recovered. Number 2 is ambiguity in scale and condition. The forms read as biological in the vision, but preserved, wrapped. Whether they are deceased, preserved, or in some other state is unclear. There's quality of handled as evidence rather than exhibit. When we let the vision move forward a little after the visit, both lawmakers leave with a sober expression. There may be an internal memo or briefing later, but in the remote viewing vision, there is no immediate public release following the visit to the base facility. The clip's existence is known among a narrow circle, rumors and leaks, or possible paths out. But within the scene, the custodians act to keep it contained. So what's in the public field of knowledge? Discussion about lawmakers being shown UAP evidence has circulated for years. Gaetz has publicly said he's seen unusual UAP images, and Luna has spoken about seeing photo documentation of aircraft she believes aren't man-made. That's what's in the public. Both Luna and Gaetz have neither said they saw any bodies, nor denied it, no comment. They said we can't talk about it. Can't confirm or deny there's alien bodies that we saw or didn't see. So if you're using plausible deniability, then there's nothing to say to the public. There's nothing to reveal, and they're not supposed to reveal it. They were sworn to keep it internal. The stuff is handled as evidence. It's not an exhibit, but it's internal procedural stuff of what they saw and what, like, physically saw those bodies and the video that was shown to them in footage. So they can't publicly disclose that, and most people in Congress don't even know about it. If you're not high up in Congress, you're not in the know. You're not going to be told what these Congress people have seen in these committees. It's need to know only. And they were need to know. Maybe they told it to somebody else in Congress who they report to higher up above them, but it's not going to be disclosed to the public. That's not how it works in Congress and Senate and in intelligence, DOD, and other types of governmental facilities, Air Force, Navy. You're not going to know about it. If you were shown something, it's classified. You're going to keep your mouth shut. So remote viewing, Ileana, Paulina, Luna, and Matt Gaetz were played a video where they saw alien bodies when they went to a Florida Air Force base in 2024. Session 3. Now this one only focuses on video, if they saw any type of video, because the other two sessions, session 1 and 2, keep repeating that there were physical bodies shown to them of aliens that are small statured sized and video. So this one, number 3, just focuses on video, a check if there was just video. The other two were about bodies and video. This one is just, were they shown video? Triple checking everything, but just having a slightly different focus of aperture. During the remote viewing impressions, we are tuning into the scene and the room comes into focus as a compressed, hushed military briefing space, low ceiling, matte gray walls, a long oval table with dim recessed lights. The air smells faintly of machine oil and disinfectant. There's a bluish projector glow at one end. 2 people sit near the projector, one tall, restless, shifting in his seat, Matt Gaetz energy. It reads as Matt Gaetz in the remote viewing. The other more guarded, eyes flicking between image and doorway, Anna Paulina Luna energy. That's what it reads as. A uniformed officer, mid-40s, cropped hair, professional but strained, stands beside a rolling case. He clicks a console. The video begins. It's not a shaky phone clip, but a stabilized high-definition feed shot under controlled lighting. The frame opens on a low table in a secured hangar bay. On the table lie 3 small forms, pale and elongated, limb proportions different from human norms. Skulls slightly domed and angular, skin translucent like wet parchment. That's why I was getting wet skin. Okay, yeah, because it like felt wet. It just felt wet. That's what the AOL impressions were in the first session, session 1. There's fine detail, thin membranous folds at the neck, tiny fibrous sutures, and dark, deep-set eyes that do not blink. The lighting throws tiny vascular shadows beneath the skin. So these guys were a little taller than 3 feet. That's what I felt, more like 5 feet or 5.5. So they could be various types of different hybridized ETs. It could be from more than one crash. Whatever video they were shown, it could be same video or even multiple sets of videos that they could have been shown. Because these guys look slightly taller. I don't know how many videos Luna and Gaetz were shown. Could have been just one video or several, but they were shown video and they were shown physical bodies. I'm getting that they saw multiple sets of bodies and several sets of videos. That's just the impressions I get, more than one of everything. The mood in the room shifts, a mixture of clinical curiosity and a quiet taut alarm. One of the Congress people leans forward. We can feel the rise of adrenaline in the air. The officer's voice is clipped. Documented recovery, chain of custody intact. We're showing this on a need-to-know basis. The playback switches to a closer shot of a gloved hand gently turns a small limb, exposing an internal structure that is neither like mammalian muscle nor like fish. Instead, it looks filamentous and lattice-like, almost crystalline in microscopic geometry. A faint hum, not from equipment, but from some unseen source, enters the periphery, like the room itself resonating. Neither lawmaker erupts. They exchange a glance that says they understand the political and security consequences of what they're being shown and what they're seeing. One of them, more vocal, asks about provenance. The officer gives a measured answer, recovered by X unit during classified retrieval. Autopsy pending. So this might be later than the 1960s, 1970s. These might be a totally other set of bodies because the video is better. So this might be something more recent, like from 2000s. It says autopsy pending. So I think they were shown multiple videos of different beings plus multiple bodies. That's just what it feels like to me. So their faces harden with the weight of knowing this could change public narratives. Luna's and Gaetz's faces, they harden. And the officer's eyes quickly slide to a steel door at the back as if expecting someone to appear. So let's see what the emotional overlay here is. Quiet incredulity edged with professional detachment. There's no theatrical screaming or immediate cover-up in the remote viewing vignette. Instead, there's rapid bureaucratic calculation. Who must be notified? How to secure the evidence? What will happen to their clearance? The playback ends, the room exhales like a held breath being released. The last image is the gloved hand placing a small tag stamped with a serial code onto a tray beside the bodies. Okay, so clearly these Congress people are incredulous at what they saw, what they experienced here, and they have to tell somebody in Congress and Senate what they saw, report back, but it goes nowhere else except the higher-ups that they report to. They don't tell anybody else below them who they work for. They only tell the higher-ups about this, and it's not public knowledge. So, okay, what do we have in public reporting? What does that show? Public reporting shows that both Rep. Matt Gaetz and Rep. Paulina Luna have talked publicly about seeing or being shown images, evidence related to UAPs or unexplained aircraft at various times, but there is no official confirmation that they were shown a video of alien bodies at a Florida Air Force base in 2024, because it's all internal. Even if they saw something, they can't tell the public about it, so they have plausible deniability. Sources range from mainstream coverage of their UAP comments to social posts and commentary alleging a video. The most solid items are their public statements and congressional materials about UAPs. Yeah, what they tell the public is what they're going to hear at these Senate committees, these meetings that they have, and what is not public will be told in a skiff where you're not going to know the minutes of. That's how it works. It's all internalized and compartmentalized. So, all right, here's the key findings of what they have said in public. Paulina Luna has publicly described seeing photographic video evidence she believes is of craft of or phenomenon not made by humans, and has told narratives about military personnel being reluctant to speak. Mainstream outlets have covered her remarks. Matt Gaetz has publicly said he's seen images related to UAP incidents. For example, calling for subpoenas for radar images from incidents off the Gulf Coast and saying some images are beyond any human capability. Much of this reporting dates to 2023, but shows he has been shown restricted or protected material in congressional or protected disclosure contexts, like in SCIFs, like in military facilities. There are some social media posts, outlets, and YouTube videos claiming that Luna and Gaetz were shown a video of alien bodies at a Florida Air Force base in 2024. The congressional record and hearings around unidentified anomalous phenomenon show active interest, testimony, and some protected disclosures. They document lawmakers' concerns and some references to evidence, but do not provide public authenticated video of alien bodies, and nor will that ever be public knowledge unless things change in US government, in US intelligence, DOD. This is all highly classified and redacted. Even if you subpoena, by some way subpoena these lawmakers or through FOIA or through whatever, they cannot publicly disclose any of this stuff. It's classified. High capacity classification level. That's why they were worried about their clearances. If they say anything to someone outside who they're reporting to, their clearances are going to be taken away and they're going to be powerless. They look powerless right now in Congress, but apparently not so powerless because they have access to seeing alien bodies and footage of alien documentation. Clearly, these 3 remote viewing sessions on the same subject show that both Gaetz and Luna have seen recovered alien bodies that are well preserved and video footage of what that looks like when the bodies were studied. So, okay, like, what is this undisclosed United States Air Force base somewhere in southern Florida where they went in 2024? When I tapped into that remote viewing, I got impressions of hangars, roads, military facility. Everything is organized in compartments in its own sections where everything is stored as evidence, bodies, preservation, and research and development and study. That's what I got. So this is what I got as the undisclosed Air Force base where Luna and Gaetz were shown alien bodies and classified video footage. I'm not going to put out names of any specific bases. I think that would get me in a lot of trouble. So I'm just doing a general image description of what it looked like to me. There's buildings, there's hangars. It is an Air Force base out in Florida. It's undisclosed. So that's what I got. I'm very careful with names of military facilities. If I think it is a matter that is, something can get me in trouble, I'm going to redact the name because I don't want somebody coming after me and releasing classified names of facilities. Remote viewers, whistleblowers can get in trouble if they name specific facilities. These people who are keeping these secrets and have kept these legacy programs of reverse engineering anti-gravitic craft and having the recovered bodies stored in Air Force facilities in the vaults, they will come after people if they name specific military facilities or other facilities where any of this happens. These legacy, retrieval programs. So you have to be very careful, even in remote viewing, to have some ground rules for this. That's why I'm explaining why I said undisclosed Air Force base, because I have to make sure I don't break the rules and somebody doesn't come after me and try to take me out, because that can happen easily if you reveal too much. Hence, it's undisclosed. The rest of everything that's in this remote viewing, I feel safe showing what the results are. And I'm now going to read summary for this, for these remote viewings. 3 remote viewing sessions had been done on the same target to determine the veracity if alien bodies had either been shown physically to Anna, Paulina, Luna, and Matt Gaetz, or if video footage of alien bodies had been presented to the 2 Congress people when they had gone to an undisclosed Air Force base in Florida during 2024. From the 3 series of remote viewing session targets on this subject matter, it seems like it was a combination of both biological, biosynthetic physical bodies of non-standard sized alien bodies were shown to the 2 Congress people, and also recorded video footage of their original bodies being recovered and packed away in military vault facilities, with the bodies likely recovered from UFO crash sites. This was done to show provenance and veracity that physical alien bodies, or biologics, as they are called, do exist, and that there is also video footage of the bodies being processed in strict military protocols, where the bodies are preserved in specialized HVAC crates and other technologies that keep the bodies intact and stable so they do not decompose, thereby being able to store the alien bodies in long-term preservation containers and facilities for long periods of time, perhaps even for hundreds of years, in order to study extraterrestrial anatomy, physiology, and how living beings off-world can exist in different non-terrestrial environments. So that's the summarization of all this remote viewing for all 3 sessions of the same target. This is the conclusions of the keynotes that I was able to summarize of completing the remote viewing and what happened here. So this was an interesting target, and I felt it needed to be done 3 times to triple check everything to make sure it was accurate. Since this was an open target, I felt it needed to be done 3 times so that, I was not backloaded with information that potentially wasn't accurate. Again, I knew nothing about Matt Gaetz or Anna, Paulina, Luna. I don't keep up with politics. I don't really, even with this UFO stuff, I don't keep up with that. So for me, this was new. And okay, let's give this a shot. And since it was emailed to me and, there was a sentence, look into this, I'm like, okay, this sounds interesting. I'll do an open target about it. So it appears like there are alien bodies of several types of hybridized species of different beings, non-standard size for humanoid bodies, biosynthetic and biological combinations of these types of species, that they have been stored in different military or Air Force facilities in preservation vaults. So that seems like that does exist. And certain Congress people, Luna and Matt Gaetz, were shown this stuff, and also physical bodies and video was shown in combination to the both of them. So this has veracity, and this has interesting components to it in this remote viewing, and I wanted to share that information because I think this needs to be disclosed. Thank you so much.